broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
What is up, everybody? Paul James here. Give me some ones in the chat box. Let me know that you can hear me okay. Should be able to see a screen that says Dennis Cedarberg. Little Google search. Just confirm that we see all that okay. Raphael, what's up, man? Welcome. Ronald says, will there be a replay? There will, of course, be a replay, hopefully, given that GoToWebinar cooperates with us. I may just do an encore instead of a replay. We'll see. But yeah, I got some cool stuff to share with you guys. It's been a while. I mean, we used to do these usually every month. We'd come on and just kind of show you what's working and stuff. But man, I've been super busy. It's been nuts. I've been doing e-commerce. So by the way, I may get interrupted in the middle of this webinar. So I hope you guys don't mind. I mean, this is pretty informal. Nothing but just like kind of value going on here. I just want to share what's working. So I have some delivery drivers coming to pick up stuff for our e-com business. So if that happens, I may have to pause for a minute because my dog is going to start barking and they're going to come to the door and I'm going to have to get those packages out, but it shouldn't take but a minute. So I apologize if that happens in advance. Hopefully it won't. Been building a software business. So that's been going well. But I mean, I haven't stopped doing SEO. SEO has been a huge part of me and my business and how I've gotten started. And, you know, I do want to make sure that I'm sharing that stuff with you guys because I know that's why a lot of you are here today, are following what I've been doing and stuff, is because I probably contributed in some way, shape, or form to your SEO career. I don't know. Put that in the chat box. If you've been doing SEO and if I've kind of affected your SEO career, if you've been following what I've been doing, just put it in the chat box. Just put like a 2 or something. But I'm guessing that's how a lot of you guys are here. Yeah, a lot of people saying that. Tracy says, expand on ecom. Yeah, we're doing stuff with Amazon and Shopify right now with ecom. So I've had case studies up. I don't know if you guys checked out my YouTube channel or if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. We've had some Shopify case studies up there. We've got some Amazon kind of follow-alongs where we go and do some retail arbitrage. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey. It's been fun. All right, cool. Lots of 2s. So yeah, like I said, this is just going to be informal. I just want to add some value, share what's working. It's been a while since we've done one of these webinars, so that's kind of why we're doing it. Andre's just getting started with SEO. Cool. Leslie started SEO through me. Awesome. Appreciate that. I mean, that's awesome, and SEO is one of the best ways to get started making money if you want to start your own business. I mean, if you think about it, if you want to make money and you want to own your own business, you really have to do a couple things. Number one is you have to have something unique that you can offer to people. So usually it involves either learning a skill or providing some sort of service that doesn't require a skill. Like, I suppose you could go and be like a content writer or something like that. Some might argue that that's a skill too, but you have to learn some kind of skill. And SEO, I think, is one of those skills that anyone can learn, anyone can do. And it's something that I've taught many people to do, where they were able to go out and land clients without really knowing what they're doing with SEO, and they kind of learn as they go because it's one of those skills that you can kind of learn as you go. So you can pick up a client, you're going to know a lot more than them by the time you're off of this webinar, enough to impress them, and you can kind of go from there, kind of learn as you go. So that's what I like about it. I focus on maps a lot of the times, but here's the thing, guys. If you're going to focus on maps, which is this little box right here, and that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today, just because this is why I really like maps. You type in Dentist Cedarberg or whatever you're going after, any kind of local business, and you're ranking at the top of search engines above everyone else just by being in this map pack. So even though one of these other guys down here, like Little Sprouts Dental, even though they might be better optimized than you, if they're not set up right on maps, you're going to outrank them. It doesn't matter. So that's what I really like about it. It's kind of beginner friendly. But at the same time, if you're following the principles and stuff that I teach about maps, chances are pretty good that 95% of the time you're going to rank here as well. And you can see that's what's happening with these guys. They're ranked here. They're also ranked here. They're actually ranked. I mean, they've got pretty nice real estate here. They've got this, this, and this. So that's what I'm talking about. And I just kind of want to share some new stuff that's going on, as well as some old stuff for people who are new and who want to get going with this. And my goal is that by the end of this, you're ready to kind of either level up your career or embark on a new journey and kick this one off. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Naomi says, is there new info about the 3-pack in today's webinar? Yes, absolutely. Am I still doing the biz where I buy from retail stores? Yes, I still do that as well with Amazon. All right, cool. Yep, this is going to be recorded, Lloyd. All right, cool. Let's just jump into it and kind of share some different things. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I guess, is the 3-pack and kind of what kind of is going on with it right now. Just so I have kind of a clue of who's with me here. How many people here, if you're actively doing SEO and doing maps, can you give me a 1 in the chat box if you're actively doing SEO, actively doing maps? If you've never done maps or SEO before, put a 2 in the chat box. I just want to know kind of how beginner friendly I have to be. Oh, wow. Okay. So we're about 50-50 actually. Okay. Not a problem, guys. So I'm just going to kind of tailor this to both of you guys. So we'll have some basic stuff in here, and then we'll kind of move on to the advanced stuff and new stuff that's going on, just so that we kind of cover all grounds. So maps shows up at the top of any Google search usually in regards to a local keyword. So that's what it is. It's right here. Some components of a map listing are the business name. They have reviews, like in this case, it's 1 review. The address, which won't always show the address depending on what type of business it is, but if it's a business where you're going to go in to get services, it's normally going to show the address. If it's a business where they come out to you, like a heating company, in most cases it shouldn't show the address, although a lot of people still are. It's also going to have the phone number, it's going to have hours, and it's going to have a link to their website. And that's basically it. That's what a map listing comprises of. There's been some new stuff. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So let me just kind of show you some newer stuff that I'm noticing. So this is a search for dentist in West Bend. And this more so goes to show the reviews as well. West Bend is the city I'm from, by the way, in Wisconsin. So here's the reviews. I'm going to click more places. So one thing you'll notice when you do that is that I'm trying to find which one did this. I think it was Midwest Dental. Check this out. They've added in some new features, which is kind of cool. You could actually make an appointment right from the maps listing. Anyone ever seen this before? Just put a yes or no in the chat box, or Y or N if you guys have seen this before. Okay, mostly no's. Yeah, so that's something new that's going on in maps listings right now. Something that I haven't really heard anyone talking about. You can get on that. Let me pull it up here. I'll put the link in the chat box. Otherwise, I guess if you're watching a replay later or something like that, you're going to have to pause the video and copy and paste this down. But I'll put it in the chat box for those of you who are here live. One of the benefits of being live, that would be this feature right here. So what you need to do is fill out this form, and they can get you set up with that. So that's one of the new features that I've been seeing, and that's kind of cool. I'm just going to check this off. I've got a checklist of stuff that I'm going to be talking about, and I want to make sure that I don't talk about things twice. All right, so that's another component of maps, another kind of benefit. So pretty cool. Let's talk about this. This is also cool. I don't know if you guys have seen this. If you go and type in gas, check this out. I can see the gas prices in the area around me. Anyone ever seen that? Let me know. Y or N in the chat box. So if you guys want to check out the gas prices in your area, that's kind of a cool new feature that they've rolled out. that I don't see many people talking about as well. Not that I really encourage you to go and work with gas stations or anything, but I did think it was kind of a cool thing and something that I thought would be cool to mention. So yeah, that's something new. $2.40 down the road for me. All right. So it's a pretty big business. On average, we're charging our clients to get them in the map listings. To get them in this real estate area here. We're charging them around $1,000 a month, and we go as low as $500 a month. That's typically on the low end. If we're working with someone who maybe we're not sure if we're going to get them many leads. They're in an area where there just isn't many people. Then we might drop down to $500 a month. But we go all the way up to $1,000, $1,500. But $1,000 is about our average. There's other companies out there. Who here's heard of HomeAdvisor or ServiceMagic before? You guys probably heard of them before, right? Okay. That's your biggest competitor, because what we're really doing is we're selling leads, right? At the end of the day, they're paying us $1,000 a month, but really they're paying for leads. They're paying for more business. Could see here there's an article on Forbes. Let's continue to Forbes here. They're doing, I think it was 300 million annually. Where was this at here? Right here. Oops. Okay, right here. HomeAdvisor is impressive and providing me the following stats: 300 million plus avenue revenue. That's insane, right? Even if you could capture just a small portion of that traffic, you'd be in good shape, right? Of that market, I guess I should say. And John brings up a good point. John says, isn't HomeAdvisor non-exclusive leads? And yeah, you're absolutely right, John. So I used to work for heating and air conditioning company. Back when I was 15, I got started there. Started off cutting the grass, worked my way up into the office, and I was basically an office manager. I was answering the phones and setting up jobs and stuff like that. And what happened was one day, ServiceMagic called me up, which is basically HomeAdvisor now. They just changed their name or got bought out or something like that. And they offered to sell us leads. It was like $60 a lead. And this is what happened. We agreed to do it. Sounded great. They sent us the lead. And by the time we got the lead and we called the lead back, they had been hit up by like 5 or 6 other people at the same time. Meanwhile, we're still getting charged $60 for that lead. So, I mean, do the math. $60 times 6 other people. They're making $360 off of that one lead that came in because they're selling it off to a bunch of different people. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was a heating contractor, and I can really relate to this because I worked for one, and I was in charge of dealing with the business and handling stuff like that, I would have been willing to pay a lot more than $60 a lead if those leads would have been exclusive, meaning I didn't have to compete on price with the customer, meaning I didn't have to compete with anyone else. I just called the lead and it was just my lead. It wasn't being sold off to 6 different people. Who here's with me on that? Would you be willing to pay more for a lead, more than what HomeAdvisor is charging you, if that meant that lead was exclusive to you? Meaning that the customer only called you, no one else? Yeah, everyone's saying, heck yeah, absolutely, for sure. It's a no-brainer. That's basically what we started doing. We just took HomeAdvisor's model and we said, and don't get me wrong, we still charge some customers by the lead, which is kind of like a pay-per-performance thing. We set up a tracking number. If you don't know how to set up a tracking number, you can get one for $1 a month from CallFire, or Twilio also offers this. And it'll track all of your leads that come in through your maps listing, and it'll automatically forward them over to your customer. So they call your number, and then it forwards over to your customer. And, we have some pay-per-performance type clients where we sell them on a per-lead basis, but about 4 years ago, I would say, maybe 5. I've been doing this a while now, so it's kind of hard to remember the exact many years ago. I decided that I no longer wanted to do the pay per performance model as much, and only because I wanted to know how much income I would have coming in on a monthly basis. So what I started to do was, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to charge you X amount for every lead that comes in, I just said, hey, give me $1,000 per month, whether you get 30 leads this month or 50 leads per month. You know, some months you're going to make up better, some months you're going to make up worse, but you're going to pay me the same amount, no matter what. $1,000 a month. So that's what I did, and basically I liked it because I knew that if I had 20 clients, I was making 20 grand that month. And every single month thereafter, because our retention rate is high. Do you know what I'm saying? People, once they have these leads coming in, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop paying me unless I quit sending them leads, of course. My leads are good. They're coming from Maps listings. They're calling a real company. They're wanting to work with them. They're exclusive leads. They're basically just calling to set up a time. It's basically, at the end of the day, what's going on. So yeah, that's what I did. And that just works out better for me. That's just my model. That's what I prefer to do. All right, so that being said, that's what it is. When I go after a niche, if you want to be beginner friendly, there's some things you want to look out for. And I've talked about this before in the past. I'm looking for the low-hanging fruit industries, and there's so many of them out there. You would think that after doing this for several years that these would just be totally saturated, that everyone would be doing this and that there would be no good places to go after it. It just isn't the case, guys. It's a wide open market. I mean, I've got a couple examples pulled up here that, you know, you could easily go into and dominate, like Plumber Thiensville, for example, like Dentist Cedarburg, for example. So what I'm looking for is typically just this one thing. I'm also going to analyze their backlinks. We'll talk about that in a little while, but it's not that important to me. Not as important as this. You can usually get a pretty good indicator. Just look at their star ratings. Look at their reviews. You know, do they have like 50 reviews? Does every single person in the 3-pack, that's what we call this, map listings, is the 3-pack because there's 3 companies. Do they all have reviews? Do they all have a ton of ratings? No. It looks all right. I can compete with that. What about here? There's one guy here who's got 36 reviews, and he's ranking number 3, so obviously he's probably good on that aspect of things, but he's probably lacking on some other things. You know, maybe we'll talk about what the other things are, but maybe his site structure sucks, or maybe his off-page optimization sucks. I still think I can compete with that. The 2 people ranking above him don't even have a website connected to it. So, you know, maybe this guy's not ranking just because he has some sort of penalty or something going on. On the flip side, if I go to Dentist Chicago, look at this, 88 reviews, 146 reviews, 81 reviews. No thanks. No thanks, not interested. Not that I can't do it, but I like to work smarter, not harder. You know, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to be stuck here every month playing monkey games with getting new reviews and trying to deal with that. It's just not worth it to me. You know, even if they were paying me a hefty fee, just quality of life is important to me, I guess, is what I'm saying. So it's not that it can't be done, because it can. We've worked with national clients. We've ranked with one single client in 55 different cities across the United States. It can be done, but especially if you're new, I just wouldn't advise it. There's just no need to do it. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. I just kind of wanted to break that down. Now, if we could basically break down what it takes to rank in one of these in like basic steps. Actually, before we get to that, we're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, I want to talk about keeping your assets, because you don't want to end up doing all this work and then you get like that one client who's like, well, hey, Paul, I'm already ranking, not really sure why we're still paying you every single month. And then they decide they're not going to pay anymore. We've had that client before, guys. And then you're like, oh man, like What a jerk. Like, how many people have been in that situation before? Those of you guys who, at the beginning when I asked if you're doing SEO, how many of you guys have a monthly SEO client or have had one in the past? And after you get them ranked, they're just like, I don't need you anymore. You know, I'm already ranking. Why am I paying you anymore, right? Lots of yeses going in the chat box. Enrique says, I have. Hannah says, pissed me off so many times. Yeah, it really gets at me. It really irritates me. So what I started doing was I started controlling my own assets. And you could do that in a couple of different ways. Okay? And I'm going to explain this to you. And take action on this, because this is huge. Number one is your tracking phone number. Set up that tracking phone number, because you're going to have the lifeline to those leads coming in. They don't pay you, you shut the phone number off. The leads stop coming in. That's the easiest way. Number two, part of controlling the ranking is what website is connected to the maps listing. So control the website. If they already have a website, like todaysdentistry.us, that's fine. Let them keep that website, but that's not the website you're going to hook up to the maps listing. When someone clicks on the maps listing website, it's going to go to a different website, which is going to be a website that you own, you control. And you want to make sure that you can rebrand that website. So here's what I mean by that. They've got todaysdentistry.us. If I'm going to work with this client and I'm going to rank them in the maps listing, I'm not going to go out and build out a new website and buy the domain todaysdentistry.com or .net or .org. That might seem like a good idea, but that's not a good idea, because if they ever stop paying me, well, now I've got a domain branded to them, which does me basically no good anymore. So go and buy something generic. Go and buy westbenddentistry.com or Dentist Professionals or ReliablePlumbingPros.com. Something generically branded. You can still have their logo on there. You can still put their videos on there. You can still put pictures of their employees on there. But when they decide not to pay you anymore, it's very easy to take all of that work you did and simply go to their competition. You know, Cedarburg Family Dentistry. Go to their competition and swap out the logos and swap out the video. It takes you about 5 minutes. So control your own assets that way. And if you really want to go one further and save yourself a bunch of time and really, really be like that real estate mogul, this is how I kind of compare it to. You're like that massive house investor, right? Home flipper kind of guy who goes out and buys up all of the real estate and then fixes the houses up and rents them out for $1,000 a month. You can be that guy, but without the overhead of having to replace the furnace when it breaks, or replace the water heater, or replace the $20,000 roof when it goes bad. You could basically be that guy. The way you have to do it is, instead of just generically branding the domain, the URL, you also generically brand the company name. So instead of creating a maps listing and calling it Today's Dentistry, you call it West Bend Dentist Pros or Reliable Plumbing Pros. You know, Reliable Plumbing Pro leads can go to anyone that they want. They can go to Daniel C. Garcia. It doesn't matter, because it's just so generic that it doesn't matter. Now, if you're going to do that kind of business where you're going to basically create your own generic listing, a couple of tips for you are, don't go after something like a dentist, first off, because they're typically going to always go into the location. And in order to do that, you have to have an address. And in order to get an address, you can't use a P.O. box. So if I want to target Milwaukee, for example, this is what I would do. I would go to Google and type in this phrase exactly: mailbox rental Milwaukee, or whatever city that you want to go in. Now, I normally won't look through like the 3-pack here. I'll come over here to one of these like yellowpages.com listings or something like that. You want to look for like one of these mail and more stores or wrap and ship. Stay away from the UPS store. I talked about that in one of my courses before, a few years back, about getting a mailbox from the UPS store. Like I'm the guy that basically invented this method of going and renting these mailboxes. That's what I did. I went out and I rented these mailboxes and created my own listings a few years back, probably like 6 years back now. And I would just lease them out for $1,000 per month or whatever. And I did it very quickly. Within a year, I had like 12 clients, like 10 to 12 clients. So I had a 6-figure income coming in from this. But I got all of them at UPS stores. And then I told other people, just go to the UPS stores and get them. And what that ended up doing was it ended up creating a footprint for Google to catch everyone. Guys like me, guys that I taught it to, and it created a footprint. So I'm not going to tell you to go after a specific brand. In fact, I would stay away from the UPS store because it's going to be pretty easy for them to catch guys like us who are doing this. Not that there's really anything wrong with it, but they just, they're very strict about, we want brick and mortar businesses, and that's why we're requiring an address. So if you're going to do this method, which is entirely okay to do it, just go after a lower key mailbox rental store, one that's not a giant franchise. And the way this works is they're going to let you use their address, like 5464 North Port Washington Road. But instead of it being that in like a P.O. box, it'll just say like number 130. Okay, number 130. And then that'll allow you to verify the listing. So you need to have an address in order to get listed here on maps. That's why not everyone can show up here, because they have to have a brick and mortar business basically to show up here. And that's why Google doesn't allow P.O. boxes. However, that's the loophole around it, is to get a mailbox rental. All right. These cost you about $30 every 6 months. They're very inexpensive. It's just a cost of doing business. And that will give you complete control over the asset. Mike is asking, why not just use a client's address? That's fine, Mike. You totally can use the client's address. The problem is that you're also going to have to use the client's business name then, because that's their address. So you'll have to use their business name. You can, however, still control the tracking phone number, and you can, however, still control the website. So we do it both ways. And to be honest with you, it's easier to just use their address. The problem is it still gives you less control. So it's okay to do. You still have control of your assets. It's just a little more work if they decide to leave you as a client. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So in order to explain what I mean by that, we have to start diving into the components of how you rank this stuff. So I've got a Word document or a Notepad document opened up here, and I've just kind of broken things down. I'm not a big PowerPoint guy. I really don't like going in and designing PowerPoints and stuff like that. So I just kind of labeled everything out here, and I hope this is okay with you guys. I hope that this style of kind of teaching stuff is fine, but I just like to kind of dive in and show you stuff. So this is basically what it comes down to. If we had to like break it down into like a few easy steps, this is what it is. So a maps listing ranking is controlled on a few different things. Number one is on-page site SEO. So the website, which you can control no matter what. So what I mean by that is the keywords that you put on that website, the permalinks that you use on that website. So a permalink is basically, if I were to click on one of their services, this little / that's after the URL, todaysdentistry.us, like this says technology, you want to make sure you have permalinks on there. Like instead of it saying technology, if I was trying to rank for cosmetic dentistry, I would want this to say cosmetic-dentistry. And I'd probably also want it to say West Bend or whatever city I was trying to rank in. Does that make sense, guys? Permalinks. So that's one method. Content. On-page site SEO revolves around the content that's on the site. So if you're trying to, let's just break this down. So our keyword would be, let's just say cosmetic dentistry West Bend. Let's say that's what we were trying to rank for. Our permalink would then be todaysdentistry.us/cosmetic dentistry West Bend. Our content would have cosmetic dentistry in it. So we're talking about 300 to 500 words on that page based around that keyword. And then we'll talk about structure in a minute, but optimization would be the next thing. Do you have H1 tags? Do you bold, italicize, underline? Do you have an image? Do you have links, like anchor text? with that keyword. All right, so I'm just kind of grazing past this stuff because I don't know how advanced everyone is on the call here or what. So hopefully this is helpful. But then comes structure, which we can get into maybe in a little bit if you guys are interested. So that's on-page site SEO. That's one factor that would play into the ranking. The next factor would be on-page listing SEO. All right, that would be like the categories. So when you sign up for a new listing, I'll just show you this real quick. You go to business.google.com. And yours might look slightly different because I'm logged into an account here already. But if you're on this page, you would come down to this little plus sign and then hit this little add a location marker. And you would start by typing in the client's address, or if you're using a new listing, you could just type in your tracking phone number or whatever. And of course, nothing's going to be found. So we'll click this. But they have these categories here, right down here. And like, let's say I'm doing heating. You would just start typing in what your business does or what they are. So like it's a heating contractor, I would just start typing in heating and I'm presented with these options. So start by typing those in. Furnace, I've got different options for furnace. I would write them all down on a notepad, basically is what I do. Air conditioning, write them all down is basically what I'm getting at. You can fill in all of your categories later. Some businesses that you work with are going to have 5 categories that fit. Other businesses are only going to have 1. But you want to fill out all the categories, so that's one thing that plays into it. Now another little tip is coming back up here to the keywords. It's very easy to rank for categories. So if you have a category that says HVAC contractor Waukesha, in Waukesha, for example, I would make one of my on-page site SEO keywords HVAC contractor Waukesha. Okay. The introduction section, that's a section on your listing where you tell people about who you are. You know, again, about 300 words in there. If you can fit in some keywords, that's great. Photos. Photos are big. Google will tell you how many photos they want. They'll say we want 5 of this photo, five photos of your building, 5 photos of employees. It's different based on what industry you're in. And to be honest, you don't really have to get so specific with it. Like if they ask for pictures of employees, I just put in 5 pictures. I don't really care if they're employees or not. You can get pictures from your client. If you're doing like a listing where you own everything, you can just go to like depositphotos.com or Pixabay or whatever and grab photos there. Reviews. Get friends and family to help you out. Leave a review. You can use your cell phone. If you've got an Android device, it's especially easy because the Maps app is built in right on the phone. You use it for your GPS. So if you have friends or family who have an Android device, they can leave you a review straight from your phone. It's very easy. And then it won't get filtered because it's coming in from a different IP address every time, right? As long as you're not connected to Wi-Fi. Or you work with your the client that you end up working with and have them leave reviews for the listing. We do that most of the time as well. 100% profile completion. When you start filling out this stuff, when you edit the listing, there's going to be a little status bar at the top and it's going to say how complete the listing is. The goal with anything to do with SEO and optimization is to get that to 100% complete. So if Google gives you content to fill in, you better fill it in because that's what they want to see. You're going to be like 10 steps ahead of your competitors just by filling in all of the content that they ask for. And that's really what optimization comes down to. So that's on-page listing SEO. Off-page SEO. Let's talk about that. That really comes down to 2 things. Backlinks and citations. So a backlink is simply like when another site links back to your site. So you've got this new site created, generically branded. It's time to go out and get some backlinks. So let's say that, for example, just so I can demonstrate what backlinks are and stuff, let's say that CNN is going to write an article on you. So CNN writes an article, puts it on their website, talks about, you being a heating contractor in West Bend, Wisconsin. And at the end of the article, they say, yeah, if you want to check out, West Bend Heating, here's a link to their website. Google considers that a backlink. And basically, whoever has the highest, well, it's a couple different factors. Not only the highest amount of backlinks, but they have to be the highest quality backlinks. So backlinks have a scale of PageRank. Many of you guys have heard of that before. It runs on 0 to 10. That's how they judge a site's quality score. So if I were to have a backlink coming from, let's say, a PR3, that would be better than a PR0. So it basically goes from lowest to highest. And my competitor had a backlink coming from a PR1, my backlink would be better than theirs. So even if they had like 5 backlinks, but they were coming from PR0s and 1s, and I had 1 or 2 backlinks coming from PR3, I would probably outrank them because my backlinks are higher quality. And by the way, PageRank scale isn't updated anymore. So most people use a third-party service called Moz, and they have a scale called Domain Authority. It's abbreviated DA usually. That runs on 0 to 100. And basically it works like this. If you have a PR, let's say, if you have a Domain Authority of 32, that would be comparable to like a PageRank 3, or to be precise, PageRank 3.2. So basically, that's how it runs. It's just you would basically add a 0 onto it or whatever. So a PageRank 3 would be a Domain Authority of 30, if that makes sense. So you want to go out and get some backlinks. You can reverse engineer your competition. I could show you that if you're interested. If you guys are already advanced and you already know this stuff, I won't get into that. Let me know in the chat box. I could just do like a quick reverse engineering thing. Okay, there's lots of other ways to get backlinks, by the way. Like having a private blog network, going after 2.0s, Web 2.0s, blog comments. There's lots of different ways, some better than others, of course. But let's just show you an easy way for you to get started. This way requires you to have a tool called Majestic, but they do have some free searches that they let you do. So let's say that this is my competitor, todaysdentistry.us, and I'm trying to rank against them. I can go into Majestic, punch in their URL here, and hit search. And I can see exactly all of their backlinks by clicking this Backlinks tab. So I can see exactly which backlinks they have. Turns out, just so happens that they don't have that many. So they have a backlink on Town of Cedarburg. This looks like some who is Lookup site. I'm just opening them up, and then they have this site. So we can actually go in and we can make a list. We could put this in an Excel document of all of their backlinks. And then we could go to our number 2 competitor and make a list of all of their backlinks as well. And basically, try to go after them and get the same backlinks that they have. So this one, they've got a backlink on this page somewhere. Probably they have a sponsorship over here. So you could reach out to Town of Cedarburg and ask how much it is to put an ad here on their sponsored section. Let's look at this site. Here's a contact us form. We could reach out and contact them and ask how we can get listed. All right, this is their own site. It looks like they just had it redirecting. So they don't have many backlinks. Let's look at this site here, Cliff Bergen. We'll just do the exact same thing. I'm going to click off of those, punch in their URL here, and hit search. All right, cool. Same thing. We're just going to open them up. We just make a list of these. All right, so this looks like a local directory, and I don't know if there's some way to contact them. I'm sure there is probably a way to contact right here, contact them. So we could contact them and ask how we can get listed. A lot of these sites will let you get on here for free. All right, here's another one. Right here, join it. Shows you how to join it and everything. Online application. $200 for that one. Not sure if it would be worth it or not. Probably not. Here's another one. Register for your own page. This one's free. So that's just an easy way to do it. Now you can get more advanced. You can go and start talking about private blog networks, which is basically where you buy expired domains that have high domain authority already, and you use them yourself, which is the very best way. Don't get me wrong. But if you're starting off as a beginner, this is an easy way to get started. Anyone can do this, right? Does that make sense, guys? I mean, hopefully if you didn't understand backlinking before, this makes sense. Let me know in the chat box. Give me some 2s if this kind of hit home for you? Okay, yeah, lots of 2s. All right, awesome. So it's just an easy way. Next up is citations. So a citation is a form of off-page optimization that is basically only for Google Maps. Citations are basically a form of a backlink. Only instead of linking back to your website, getting a link, you would drop your company name, your company address, and your company phone number. And you want to make sure that it matches whatever is on your listing. So it should match whatever is on here. Whatever phone number and stuff that you have here, that's what it should match exactly. So if it says 25 East Washington Street, number 1917, don't put suite, put number, if that's what it matches here. So citations are an awesome way to basically get a bunch of backlinks for your map listing and, just crush it. There's a lot of, I'm going to open up another tab here and show you one way to reverse engineer them. Let me open this up. Now that you know what a citation is, just logging into another service that I use here. Okay. Yeah, I'll show you this real quick. So Whitespark is a tool that I use. I'll put it in the chat box to reverse engineer my competitor citations. But those of you who already know Whitespark, just hold tight because I've got some other powerful citations that you're probably not using and that you should be to really get a leg up on your competition. But this is where I normally start. Like if I'm like just going after a new client and we're just starting off, come in here, type in the location, the key phrase you're trying to rank for, and hit search. And then they'll send you an email with results. Let me open up an old one. All right, I've opened up an old search that I did. So they'll show you your competitors here. These are in the 3-pack. They'll show you more than 3 though. They'll show you how many citations they have. Like the top one has 31, right below them has 9, 3. And you can actually view sources and see exactly which citations they have, right? So you can make a list of them. You can export this list to a CSV file, and then you can go after these citations. So like, let me just show you what one of these citation sites looks like. So this one's Hot Frog. I see a lot of questions coming in, guys. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try and get to them. I just want to make sure I cover everything and don't lose my train of thought. So Hot Frog is like a citation site, and they all look a little bit differently, but basically you click add your business. Okay, they have a system update going on. All right, let's try Merchant Circle. That's another site. All right, they're just gonna ask basic information. It's like signing up for, any social media site or anything like that. And of course, as you go through and create your account, they're going to ask the address. And that's going to be either your client's address or your mailbox, depending on which route you're going. So you'll gather this list and then you'll go after your competitors and make a list of them. And what I normally do is I use this little Excel document and I put down what site I'm going after, a link to my actual citation page after I create the account, and then my username or email and password so that I can go back in and access that account. So here's why I said, when I think it was Mike who asked me earlier, why not just use the client's address? I do use the client's address all the time, but then I am forced to also use their business name in the listing. Like if I'm going to use Strobel Dentistry, they're my client. If I'm going to use their address, I have to use their business name too. So what that means is if I ever don't work with them in the future and they're a client of mine, I have to go back in and edit all of their citations. So you got to make sure you keep a log of which ones you have, and then you have to go back in and you have to remove your tracking phone number and your website because those are your assets. You have to remove them from their citations. So it is a little bit more work, but it's definitely an easier route. It's a little more work up front and in the long run, if it doesn't work out, it's a little more work. whereas the other one is a little more work up front. You know, going and scouting out a mailbox rental is a little more work up front, but then you own that forever. You know, all the citations and stuff that you do to that, they're yours forever. You're never going to have to go back in and re-edit them to a different, different phone number or different website. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the chat box. I just want to make sure we're clear on that, and then I'm going to talk about some more advanced ways to get citations. Awesome. Okay, very good question that I'm going to pause and answer. Someone said, what happens to the map listing if I use my own mailbox rental address? The client's address won't show up on the map since I will have my address, not my client's. You're absolutely 100% right, which is why I mentioned not to go after a niche where that's going to matter, like dentists. Don't go after a dentist niche if you're going to do that, because when people want to go in and get a cavity filled, they're going to look at the address on the maps listing and they're going to pop in and it's going to be a mailbox. So that means you're limited on what you can go after. You have to go after services that come out to, you know, the home of the customer, like heating and air conditioning. And in that case, you can hide the address. Like, I don't know if I can find an example. Let's try Plumber Milwaukee, maybe a bigger search term. Okay, right here. See, there's no address on Roto-Rooter. These guys have their address listed, but most of the time they shouldn't. And you can actually hide that when you create the listing. You can choose not to show the address. All right, awesome. So let's talk about some advanced citation strategies. You know how to go after your competitors' citations, but you want to get a leg up on them. So use YouTube as a citation. You can go and you can create a YouTube video. You can use a service like Animoto. All right, Animoto is a service that you can create videos with. It's just you upload a bunch of photos, it pops you out a video. Upload it to a YouTube account, and in the description, type in the name of the company, the address, and the phone number. Quick, easy way to get a good citation. You can use Web 2.0 as a citation. So I'm talking sites like Tumblr. Go create a Tumblr account. Have you guys ever seen what a Tumblr page looks like? I'll just show you an example. I'll type in Tumblr makeup because I bet we'll come up with something. All right, these are what Tumblr pages look like. It's basically like WordPress, but it's free and it's hosted on tumblr.com. You can put your citations on these as well. Okay? Yes, Jonathan used to run a fashion blog on Tumblr. We've actually done the same thing, Jonathan. We monetized it with building an email list and sending CPA offers, and also AdSense. You can see this blog is actually running AdSense ads, so that's just a side note, but that's also Web 2.0s are good for citations and something that people usually aren't thinking of. Social network citations. It looks legit when a company or your business listing has a Facebook page, a Twitter page, a Tumblr page, a LinkedIn page. It looks even more legit to Google when you start putting citations on those properties. So name, address, phone number. You can run a press release. Okay, a lot of you guys probably have SkyRanker. There's other press release services out there. I think one was called like Press Release Monkey or something like that that we've used before. We mostly use SkyRanker right now, but you can put your citation in your press release, and that's like an instant influx of citations right there. My Maps. I'll put a link to this in the chat box. You can come in here and you can create a new My Map is basically what it is. And you can put your citation in here as well. It's basically just letting you save your own like custom map marker. So that also is a form of a citation that you can do. This is really interesting. You guys ever seen those phone number lookup sites? Like, who here's gotten a call from a solicitor or something like that, or a phone number, and you look on the caller ID and you're not sure who it is, so you type it into Google, right? Anyone here done that before? I'll just do it as an example to show you. See how you have all these sites, people by name. What else do we have? Should I answer? So you can open up those phone number directory sites, and it basically, they just curate all the possible different number combinations that could possibly come up. and they curate it. And what you can do is you can add your citation into these sites. Let's just, let me show you an example. Doesn't really even matter what you select, to be honest with you. You can select whatever you want. Boom, company name, let's just do West Bend Heating. We're located at 123 Water Street, Suite 124, West Bend, Wisconsin, 53, blah, blah, blah. Phone number. Send rating. Boom, look at that. Now we've got our citation. So, I don't know. What do you think, guys? Learning some new stuff here. Is this helpful? Does it make sense? Is it clicking? Give me some threes. Let me know. Let me know where we're at here. Awesome. So yeah, this is just kind of the stuff that I've been up to, guys, and I just really wanted to share it with you. You know, the more citations you can get, the better. Log them in your tracker thing here. And when it comes to ranking, I mean, other than there's one other variable, and that is your location when you're on a mobile phone. Google takes into account of your IP address when you're searching, and you know, so they know where you're at, like your GPS on your phone, and they might show you different results based on that. But other than that, this is it, guys. This is what controls it. There's really not much to it. It's pretty easy when it comes to maps, especially. You know, all you have to really do is fill the stuff out. Fill it out. Get the backlinks. Get the citations. I showed you how to do it all. And, you know, once you've got someone ranked, you're pulling in leads every single month for them. And people are willing to pay for those leads. So I encourage you to take action on this stuff. Those of you guys who want to take it a step further, I am doing a coaching program. How many of you guys know that I do coaching? Probably most people. Some people might, but a lot of you guys maybe didn't even know, because I haven't done a coaching group since September of 2015. So a whole year ago almost. And that's just because I've been busy, but I'm going to open up one more group, and I've got some spots open. I had a huge waiting list, to be honest with you guys, of people who have applied for it all year long. And I've tried to follow up with most of the people on that list. And if you have already applied and you're on that list, of course, I'm going to give you priority, and you'll be one of the first to get in. But basically, we work together to get you going in 4 weeks so that you have like this entire thing up and running. We try to grab you a client. We go through the client getting strategies, because I know a lot of you mentioned in the chat box that one of your biggest problems is actually getting a client. And that's what I found to be the biggest struggle for most people, is actually getting a client. So when you have a clear defined strategy on how to do that, which is basically what the coaching is about, it's not only getting this ranked and getting, you know, an actual asset up there, but it's actually getting a client to pay you that $1,000 per month. That's basically what we help with. So I'll just kind of tell you how it works. And again, I hope that no matter what, you got a lot of value out of this. And I'm only taking on a few more slots for the coaching group anyways. So if it's something you think you're interested in, stick around. If not, I appreciate you stopping out, and I hope that this is helpful. You know, we'll probably do these more often. But I did want to give you an opportunity to work directly with me and really, really step things up a notch if you wanted to. So if you want to, I'm going to drop the link here. I'll type it on the screen. It's pauljames.com/workshop is the application. I'm not just working with anyone. You'll see when you go to that page, and I'll put it in the chat box too, that it's an application. There's not a buy button there, and that's because I'm not just going to take your money. And quite honestly, if you're not a fit, I'm not even going to offer it to you. So I make everyone apply for it, and then I filter through the applications. And if I do think you're a good fit, what we do is we actually get on a call together. You and me, we get on the phone. This isn't like a salesperson that I hire or anything like that. It's legit. You and me, we're on the phone. We're walking through where you're at right now in your business, where you want to be, and basically if I think I can help you get there. And if I do think I can help you get there, I'll invite you to participate in this next coaching group that's coming up. And again, it's the only group that I've got going on in the past entire year almost. It's been almost a full year since I've taken on students. Every time I do one of these groups, it fills up. I've never had a group where it hasn't filled up. They always fill up, and I always end up with a wait list of people. And as you can imagine, it's been a year since I've done it. So again, if you had filled out an application in the past and you've been on that wait list for a year, I will make sure to give you priority. I'll see that you filled out an application twice. So this is just kind of my way of making sure that you're still interested. So here's the deal. We work together for 4 weeks. And during those 4 weeks, we get on live webinars, kind of like the one you were on today, only it's more step-by-step. It's more curriculum-based. So I'm going to literally get on the call with you and I'm going to say, hey, this is what I want you to do this week. I want you to do this. I want you to set this up. I want you to write this content and get it done by next week. And in between those weeks, you're going to have the opportunity to get on a call with me if something doesn't make sense. You know, we work together one-on-one, assess where you're at, and figure things out. And basically, by the end of that 4 weeks, in the past we had it be a little bit longer. Actually, it was 6 weeks. But I've actually shortened it down to 4 weeks because I want to be able to get your results even faster. And by the end of the 4 weeks, you're going to have this entire business set up. And it's going to shortcut things for you drastically because you're following a proven system, a proven plan. You're working directly with me, setting things up exactly the way I set them up. I'm literally walking through with you live saying, do this and do it at this time. And then we also work on client getting. Not only client getting that you can use immediately to land a client, but also long-term strategies like funneling people in, like setting up a funnel and funneling them in so that it's more hands-off, because that's a big part of our business now is hands-off client getting, so that they're just kind of coming into your funnel and basically you're talking to them when they're ready to pay you. So that's pretty cool too. Just going to go through some questions. And if you guys have questions, throw them in there. Dale says, what am I providing for the $1,000 per month service? Is it just the map service or is it other ranked YouTube videos and websites? Dale, I'm providing whatever it takes to get their phone ringing. If that means I'm going to have to create a video and rank that on the first page along with the maps listing, then I'm doing that. If that means that the maps listing alone is generating leads, that's fine too. At the end of the day, it has to make sense for them, right? They have to be making more than $1,000 a month to keep paying me. So that's basically what it comes down to. I mean, even if we're waiting for the listing to rank and I've got to get on Craigslist and post Craigslist ads to generate those leads, that's what I do. You got to make it happen. You got to have the hustle. So this business is about adapting, and you either have what it takes to adapt and figure things out, figure out problems as they come to you, or you're just sitting there thinking of ways of why it can't work or why you can't do it. So there's just basically two types of people who come up with excuses or reasons why they can't do things, and people who are just going to come up with solutions and just do it. And I hope that everyone here are one of those people, and I'm guessing that most of you probably are, because you're here, you're trying to learn, you're trying to better your situation and just meet your goals. So yeah, that's just, hopefully that answers that question. A little bit off topic, but I think it's important to mention that. Julie says, would this be for an absolute beginner, meaning I haven't started the business yet? Yeah, Julie, it's honestly, if you're an absolute beginner or you even have done SEO even and you just aren't seeing the results you want, it's for both of those types of people, because it's coaching. I mean, this isn't like a training where I'm sending you a series of videos and you're going through them and watching them. This is us working together, so I can tailor the training to your experience level. That being said, it may not be for everyone, which is why if I think you are fit for the program, I'm going to reach out to you and do a call first with you where we get on and we basically talk about where you are, talk about your goals, where you want to be, and then I'll assess at that point if I can help you. And if I can't, I'll be honest with you and let you know. Like I said, this isn't my main business. I have lots of stuff going on, and I just so happen to be doing one of these groups. I may not do another one for another year. I really don't know. So if I can help you, I will. If not, I'll let you know that and hopefully steer you in the right direction of someone who can help you if it's not me. Okay, just going through more questions, guys. I see someone asking about backlinks. Backlinks are a huge thing, and we're going to talk about private blog networks in the coaching. It's going to be something that I want you to have set up. It's an asset that I really believe in and something that makes ranking really easily. So it's something that we spend time talking about. How long does it take to rank one of these on average? Usually about 2 weeks. Do you ever just rank the site without maps first and rent it and then get into maps? Yeah. Like I said, I do whatever it takes to generate leads. Whether that be ranking websites as well, ranking videos, they all pretty much revolve around the same strategy. Maps is just usually easier for a beginner. Do I have a support team around me to get all of these things done, or do I do the work 24/7? Dale, actually, most of my business is hands-off now. That's why I've been able to focus on software. That's why I've been able to focus on my e-commerce business. So yeah, it's absolutely outsourceable, and I do outsource a lot of it. Almost all of it now. What is the best way to get citations indexed? You know, a lot of people will ping stuff, or you can backlink them if you want. Throw some blog comments at them or some lower quality backlinks, because it really doesn't matter just to get it indexed. But most of the time they'll index naturally. John says, how much is the course? This isn't a course, John. This is coaching. So it's not something that like I'm just going to put a buy button up for, and you know, for X amount of dollars, this is what you get. I will say that the investment is in the low 4-figure range. In the past, when it was a longer training, I charged $3,000 for it, but you're not going to pay anywhere near that price. It still is in the low 4-figure range, but because I've shortened it and I'm running a special deal right now, it's a lot cheaper than that. So that's where I'll leave you at. I'm not going to give you a price on the webinar though, because I'm not going to sell you something without knowing that you're a good fit for it. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to sell you something before I know I can help you. And to be honest with you, price is usually the last concern of someone who's a good fit for this program, because it's a lot cheaper to invest in this program and work with me than it is to not be hitting your income goals every month. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're making, let's say, $5,000 a month right now, and you want to be making $10,000 a month, if I can help you get to that point and you don't do it, you're wasting $5,000 every single month that you don't do it. So that's what I mean by that. Cost is usually not even an obstacle, because it's costing you way more to stay where you are in most cases. And if that's the case, then I'll offer it to you. I'll tell you the price, and it really should be a no-brainer decision for you, because it's going to cost you a lot less in the long run. It'll cost you a lot less in the first month that you're not hitting your income goals. So, all right. Will you share what you charge for coaching? Yeah, I just covered that basically. So hopefully that helps answer that one. I thought PBNs were not recommended. So people have PBNs kind of mixed up. There used to be the old type of PBN where there would be a website, and that website would have access to like 100 private blog networks that you could buy access to for $47 a month, and there'd be thousands of people all using the same backlinks. That's a bad idea. That's what I would be considered not recommended. But a private blog network, hence the word private, not just blog network, but private blog network, is where you use those sites only for yourself. And if you use them the right way and you don't create a footprint, which is what I teach you to do, it's totally recommended. It's the best way to rank. All of the SEOs who are serious, who are making the big money, the guys who are making 6 figures a month, they're using private blog networks. I don't know any SEO that's making a lot of money who isn't using private blog networks, let's just put it that way. Citation outsource service. Yeah, you can outsource citations. I use this guy, pauljames.com/citations, if you want to visit that link. This is the guy I use. So yeah, I don't do the citations myself. I save time where I can. So that's one of those tasks that I outsource. How difficult is it to back out your work that you have done for a client if you work with a client that you connect your own mailbox for? if you're going to use your own mailbox, you're going to use your own business name as well, a generic business name. So it doesn't matter at that point. You can sell the leads to whoever you want. You can sell them to 5 different people if you wanted, because it's a generic name. Just going through more questions, guys. So if I'm silent, that's why. How much does it cost for a good PBN? That's a good question. You can find expired domains that are scraped for as little as $12.99 or $9.99. And then you can find domains that are still not expired. They're expired, but they haven't dropped yet. Anywhere from $70 to, I don't know, it goes all the way up to $200-$300. But for $70, you can get pretty good quality stuff. So like I said, I'll teach you both ways how to kind of find the expired stuff that's dropped for $9.99, and then I'll show you how to find the other stuff through auctions. All right, guys, it looks like we've gone through all the questions. I'll try to get a replay up for you. Again, I hope this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to working with some of you guys in this workshop. You should go check out the page. We've got some interviews up there. Paul Tufts, for example, he's doing over $20,000 a month recurring from the coaching. Lamont, his son's paying for college with the coaching. Him and his son started a business together after I worked with them. Jeffrey Poling, doing big numbers. I think he's doing 6 figures after the first year working together. So he's doing really well. John Garofano, excellent guy. I mean, these are real people, guys. So these are people just like you who, a year or two ago decided they wanted to work with me and change their lives, and that's what we did. So I'm dedicated to your success, and if you're, willing to change and really step up your business, I'd really love to hear from you. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you later. I've got some other stuff going on for the rest of the day. By the way, if you do fill out the application and you're able to chat right away, I'm going to open this up. If you're able to chat right away, on the application, just put in the note section here, call me anytime or something like that. Like if you don't really care when I call you, just put call me anytime in here. That'll let me know that I can call you whenever I want. So if I get some time today or whatever, then maybe you'll be hearing from me today if you're a good fit. All right, guys, peace out.